The most talked about cash game in poker is back. Over the last 6 seasons, we've seen personalities clash.
You're a stupid, stupid man, and you'll be very, very sorry and very sore.
Is this the guy that we really want at the poker table with us?
I'm not allowed to say anything because Viffa just shouts over me.
Shut up!
You're coming from America, you want to make a joke out of me? That's what you want?
You guys are awful.
Egos crushed.
Oh my God, I've never been so home.
I must be behind.
Phil, look at this. Everything. Everything you have.
No respect at all, Jen, you see that? It's disgusting.
Outplayed by somebody in a shirt like that.
Hundreds of thousands won.
Yay!
If you tell me it's mine, I'm gonna take it.
That's how we do it in LA, that's how we do it in London.
I am the greatest. To get all the money in like this, who can do this in the whole world? There's no one. Only Tony G can do this.
That's how I play. That's the way I roll.
And lost.
Having a nightmare. Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug.
But you know I play terrible hands all the time. You're an idiot, I am. Absolutely.
And as players get eliminated and the clock ticks on for 12 hours of non-stop play, even the best have unraveled.
I'm going home, mate. Yeah, I don't know what I'm doing here.
Wait, did Phil muck his hand?
What? 60,000 euro mistake! Wow, it was 6.
This is like unbelievable. It's history.
In Season 7, the Party Poker Big Game will make 4 stops around the world, starting in Casino Barcelona. With the World Poker Tour in town, the Big Games lineup looks set to be juicier than ever, with some of the biggest names in poker buying in big for 12 non-stop hours of action. Here's your starting lineup.
American poker hippie Faraz Jaka in for 10K. Cash game superstar Tony G buying in for 20. Spaniard Adria Balaguer buying in for 8. Scott Baumstein coming in for 10,000. Toby Lewis for the British side in for 10K. Spaniard Raul Mestre buying in for 5. Alec Torelli for 20K. And finally, the Pirate Max Pescatori on 5,000.
I'm excited, you know, I'm traveling to all these events, I'm always playing tournaments. It's about time to get some cash game action.
More than the money, I just want to win.
I'm just really happy to be here at the big game. I'm just going to try to crush him.
I definitely need to win in this event for my Italian pride, so it's on. I hate all of them. I hate the look of all those guys there. They're all nits, they're all mean. I want to take everything they have, I want to take everything with me, and I want to take it to Lithuania. And where are these jerks from? What sort of nits are you producing? It was an agreement, you didn't do it, you did it on purpose. It was very clearly agreed. Any player will tell you, ask them. You're a cheat. What is this? You're a disgrace.
You finished now?
Welcome to the Party Poker Big Game. Our players have bought in for a minimum of 5,000 euros and a maximum of 20,000. The blinds are 25 and 50, and there are unlimited rebuys. Now, this is the big game, though, so be prepared for the rules to change. And don't forget, the online viewers will be voting off their least favorite players throughout the game. Your 12 hours of play starts now. Good luck.
The clock ticks starting now. I'm thrilled to be joined by Simon Dedman, WPT Dublin champion. The whole thing about these big games is, like as we were just talking before, you said you got to see the pain. I mean, that's what a cash game is, isn't it?
Yeah, looking forward to seeing some pain.
We are only playing 6-handed right now, and we have seats for 8. Those will soon be filled. There's just a few housekeeping issues. What's the longest cash game session, live or online, you've ever played?
I haven't played a 24-hour session there. Probably like 15 hours.
Check.
Really, you're a babe in the woods?
Yeah.
You've never gotten so stuck you just couldn't leave the casino?
I'm just, if I play tired, I'm just the worst. I'm just giving money away, so I try not to play more than 8 hours if I can help it.
Well, I think all these guys are prepared to play the full 12 if they're able to. What do we got here? It's oh, this is small blind, big blind, and Torelli's flopped a set.
Yeah.
150.
Now, a lot of people might not be familiar with Raul Mestre. He is a sponsored pro here in Spain, and you telling me he was on your table for a while?
He was on my table on the end of day one, and in the main. He played an interesting hand with David Qatar, I was telling you about earlier.
Yeah, and I mean, I from what I know about him, he's one of those guys. He's kind of what you'd imagine a very strong personality Spaniard to play like. You know, he'll put the chips in.
If I fall, I don't have to show, right?
So Mestre has just called 150 on the turn here with a really weak flush draw, and he's got there. I mean, he can't even bet it, can he?
I don't know.
I mean, can he even call a big bet now?
It looks like he's thinking about leading for value.
250.
Yeah, he is. He's leading for value.
I mean, that's insane, isn't it?
That is insane. I think he might get called, though.
The really interesting thing is that, I mean, it's a thin value bet, first of all.
It's the call on the turn is so strange.
Yeah. And second of all, like, he's made a bet here where if he gets raised, he pretty much has to throw it away.
He's bet like half pot. Torelli's folded. I thought he might pay him off there. He can't really have a bluff, but I guess if he misses the river, he's probably going to lead too, I guess. He can't just check 9 high up on the river if he misses.
Did that hand get shown?
No.
Torelli's going to be sitting there thinking to himself, who is this guy?
He's got a little smirk on his face there. I think he may have had to show that.
Yeah. Let's do offsuit.
Offsuit. Okay. Offsuit 1 200.
Oh, they might be playing the 7-deuce game now, but only offsuit. That's quite funny.
Yeah.
What the 7-deuce suited is too strong a hand.
So suited you can only limp.
Definitely make the game a bit lively if they put the 7-deuce in.
And so for those who don't know the 7-deuce game in, because 7-deuce is considered one of the worst hands in Holdem, if you win a pot with it, every player at the table has to pay you a certain amount of money. Have you ever played before?
I have, yeah. It makes the game interesting. A lot of the time, when there's a lot of action pre, the 2 hands are either aces or 7-deuce, and you have to make a decision. That's a really good game, though. Some people do all their money trying to win the little bit with the 7-deuce, but
right. Yeah, you can do your whole stack trying to win a pot with 7-deuce.
You have to. If you play the 7-deuce, you have to go for it.
So now Torelli has opened this pot up to 100. And Balaguer with the 3-bet.
Finally, some action.
Yeah, and well, my guess is Baumstein is going to just pass this, but no.
Looks like he's going for the 4-bet.
This is kind of opinionated, isn't it? Because I mean, it's Balaguer's first 3-bet. You'd think you'd give him some credit for that, but Baumstein's onto this.
Straight in there.
What do you make of that? Just a good read, perhaps?
I think he's just made a good read. Maybe he's played with the guy before and he's not.
And isn't it all ironic because Torelli's thinking this is the best two cards I've seen so far. Baumstein's made it 900, which is a fairly big bet at this stage. Is this one of those hands that just plays different in a tournament? I mean, you'd call it kind of a crazy play in a tournament, the cold 4-bet there with the King-Jack.
Yeah, I mean, it's probably more standard in a tournament than it is in the cash game, I think. But
yeah, 3-bet or more.
Oh, he has to show it too.
And so maybe that's why he did it. Now that he's shown the ability to 4-bet with King-Jack, I mean, he set something great up for the next time he puts money in a pot.
Yeah, that's going to do his image loads of good. If he plays pretty tight now, like you said, maybe he will, he'll definitely get some action now.
I always like to think that there are going to be some players who you don't know about right now, but that if the game becomes like this, where cards are shown after every hand, they're just going to get super at it because there's all that extra stuff to keep track of. And like, it makes sense that if you are showing cards, you want to make a big bluff early.
Yeah.
I mean, that just...
Well, the more reason to do it early as well, because people are less likely to mess around early, because like the game's just getting going, no one's thinking about doing too much. And now he's shown that as well. He's gonna get some action next time he gets a hand.
Sure, and Balaguer must be thinking, geez, I made a play, Queen 10 offsuit, and look what this guy did.
Check.
Does he have to show the hand that he folds too, or is it
I
just
don't
the guy
think
that
he
wins
did.
the
I think
pot?
it's just the guy who wins the pot right now.
Okay.
Or you like to play it safe?
I think it depends on your hand. I mean, like, if he has no hand here, Toby's made a pair on the turn in now.
And that's the kind of bet where he's prepared to just be done with it, right? I mean,
I expect him to call one bet here with ace high, but
I mean, I guess part of him checking back the flop, he was trying to keep a 10 in his range, like that I'm checking back 3 10s. But when he call now, that's pretty much done, right? I mean.
yeah, I mean, I don't think he ever has a 10. I think he bets the flop with a 10 more often than not, because you just check it, betting their strong hands more often.
Right.
I think, I mean, Toby might go for a value bet here. I mean, I think he knows that.
Getting called by exactly ace high, that's
yeah,
so thin.
I mean, he can bet here and get called by hands that beat him like 7s and 8s, but. Or maybe like a 9, he maybe check back a 9 too, but.
Well, if he does make a bet here, it's kind of a blocking bet in a sense, right?
He knows he's not going to get raised. There's no real hand that Balaguer can have to raise on the river. It wouldn't make much sense for him to raise now.
Let's see how much he's bet. It looked. He's bet 600.
Yeah.
Fold.
Yeah, Balaguer's called the turn to reevaluate the river, and he's made a good fold on the river.
Toby trying to make it look like a bluff, I guess.
Yeah.
Making a big bet. That was quite interesting sizing by Toby Lewis. And he's got off to a good start.
I think Toby knew exactly where he was in the hand there.
I think you're right. And I believe we have a new player joining the table. This new player is.
New York has a different energy than London.
Has been a bit of a veteran for the big games. I think he's played 2 or 3 times before. The pirate Max Pescatori. He's a real. He's considered a little bit old school as far as European poker goes these days.
Yeah, I haven't actually haven't seen him play before.
London's
I'm
like,
interested to see how he plays.
I mean, New York's
Is
actually.
he generally tighter? Or?
Well, I've only seen him play the cash games here on the big game. He's kind of looked at as almost the godfather of Italian poker. Back before like the internet, he was living in Las Vegas as the only Italian poker player. And he's won either 1 or 2 bracelets, but this guy
he's got the shortest stack as well, so he's going to be ready to gamble.
Yeah, and it's interesting, isn't it? You look at his stack; it is the shortest at the table, but it's still nearly 100 big blinds.
It's still a lot. Yeah.
Like in a tournament, you'd be laughing with 100 big blinds. You'd go out for for a meal.
Call.
Yeah, I'm there quite a bit.
Yes.
Well, Jaka's opened this up, and Baumstein's 3-bet him from the button.
4 or 5 months last year.
Or excuse me, is it Balaguer? I think it was Baumstein. Oh, sorry, Balaguer 3-bet. I know we'll get it right sooner or later. Yeah, he raised to 450. Pretty standard for Jaka just to peel off for the flop there, rather than getting a 4-betting, 5-betting war.
Yeah, I think they're too deep for him to be getting more money in.
Eventually, when they're gonna have poker legalized online.
I think he's gonna check call 1 bet here and.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna get mixed with the rest of the world.
Yeah, he has called. And this is.
It's not good.
This is almost like part of the overall scheme. You can't just be check folding flops.
No, when there's, I mean, he's gonna reevaluate the turn.
Now a lot of guys would check back the turn with Balaguer's hand, wouldn't they? Just for pot control.
Yeah, I think he will check it back.
I mean, what are the thoughts about why you'd rather bet or check here?
I mean, I think he's going to check back because he doesn't want to get check raised on the turn. He knows Jaka's range. The deuce could definitely have helped Jaka.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, he's just got a bit of pot control. Also, like he can have Jaka can have like ace jack, ace queen here too. It's an interesting river lead from Jaka here.
Now there's 2,000 in the pot.
He's gone huge. He's bet really big by the looks of it. I like this bluff.
1,100. Call.
Oh,
snapped off by the Spaniard. Show me, buddy. And Jack is first going to be like, wow, you 3-bet with that.
Wow.
And then, wow, you snap called me for a grand. I mean, was it a tough call by Balaguer, or do you have to call overall once you check the turn?
I expected him to think about it a little bit longer, but I mean, he's obviously checked back the turn to call the river, so he's...
I enjoy like 10 games.
So Jaka could be thinking one of two things is over there. There's Balaguer raking the pot. Faraz could either be saying, oh my gosh, I'm really going to have to bet big if I want this guy to fold.
Yeah.
Or he's thinking, I just shouldn't be bluffing this fella at all. You can see the chip counts there. Of course, those are the stacks the players are sitting with and their profit and loss, as the players have all won in for different amounts between 5,000 and 20,000 euros. Biggest loser right now because of that pot, Faraz Jaka, and Balaguer on his left has gone from like stuck 1,000 to ahead one.
Yeah, just takes one pot.
Yeah, it's always. What about what do they play mixed?
What do you think the other players are going to be saying? What have they learned from that sort of exchange, seeing all the cards?
I don't think there's anything there that they wouldn't have expected, to be honest.
I think Balaguer's going to be a lot of action, though.
Yeah, well, he came in straight away with 3-betting the Queen 10 off, and then they didn't get to see that hand, though, did they?
No, I don't think so.
He got a cold 4-bet the first time he 3-bet.
Two players. Testing as cartas.
This is Mestre.
It's just blind on blind again, these two.
He's kind of relentless, Mestre. I mean, he attacked with the 8-9 last time. Now the 4-5. He just doesn't seem to care.
200.
200.
Could be worse than this.
Torelli's got top pair to middle pair.
Raise 600.
Wow, this is a very strange line. He's open pre, and now he's gone for the check raise with bottom pair.
So
Torelli's never folding here. He's just going to call and see the turn. Wow. What, did I get Torelli's hand wrong?
No, Torelli folded top pair there. I mean, I guess he just was looking ahead and said he didn't want to call a bet there and have to make a decision on the turn or something.
Wow, maybe Torelli hasn't played with Mestre much before. The check raise didn't make a lot of sense to me, but
yeah, and I don't think he's gotten to see the hand either.
I don't trust those guys.
We're back for more from the Party Poker Big Game after the break. It's season 7 of the Party Poker Big Game from Barcelona, the Mediterranean capital. A beautiful day is drawing to a close over the marina right next door to Casino Barcelona, but we'll be playing long into the night as the players face the highs and the lows of the big game. And of course, there's unique player evictions where our online viewers have the power to change the lineup and boot someone right out of the game.
See the
I should have bet
profit
more. I
and
was
loss so
tilted that I
far.
didn't bet more. I was like, wow, this is such a. He just
It's
always
funny
has
that
the best hand.
You all cheered and made fun of
It's like
Tony.
if we're all in on the turn and I show you a set and you're like, okay.
Torelli's
Then you show
talking
me a
about
set
the
on
hand
river,
from
I would
Vienna
be
last year. I don't know if
okay,
you heard
that
about it,
happens
where
like 1 out of
Phil
1,000,
Lock
you know?
folded the winning hand
just never
after
happened.
showdown in a 60,000 euro pot against Andy
I remember
Mosley.
seeing it. There was side bets on it as well, wasn't it? There was a debate on the side bets.
Yeah, Tony versus Torelli and Mosley. And
Maybe we should have watched, you know? Tony was like super adamant about winning, but maybe he's right. He did have the best hand. You know, like the wording is kind of like, you know, in his favor. And maybe we should just watch because it's so weird.
Who had the best time.
Yeah.
Those were the words, so at the end...
Toby Lewis is open here, ace-9 suited.
If you were to say...
I think Jaka may have called on the button with Jack-10 suited as well.
Then I think you should have got it. I remember the words.
Yeah, I don't know if we bet. I don't remember. I don't know if we bet who would have the best hand on the river or who would have the best hand at that point. But I think it was something about that. I think it was, yeah. Because maybe then the river, you could start
up
out.
now, 300 bet and called on the flop.
Yeah, I think that's what we did.
Jaka's floating here with Jack-10.
Right, because that's the thing. If you use those words, then then if you might.
The Jaka doesn't even have a backdoor flush draw, but that's the kind of card where if you're floating, you might.
This is a good card for Jaka's hand, considering he called the flop with no hand. I mean, this is a good card.
70,000 or Tony losing.
And I mean, with Lewis, do you have any option here then to just go into check call mode? I mean, he's firing out here.
I think he's probably like going for value off a worse 9.
I mean, he should have showed the 9 on the turn. The sick thing is we made a good bet.
But when you make that kind of bet, if you're Toby,
you know,
I mean, you got to realize, right, that Jaka could be raising you here with a lot of hands that you beat, right? I mean, wouldn't Jaka be raising with an ace of hearts here, or?
Are you sure the camera didn't go?
He's Jaka's just obviously just decided to float and given up on the turn.
It was a good
strong bet. Quite a strong bet from Toby to bet out twice when the flush comes in too.
Final table.
Great start from Toby Lewis, huh? He seems to know where he's at.
Yeah, I think he's got Jaka, put Jaka on a worse 9 there, and he's trying to get some value.
Not intimidated one bit.
That's pretty funny.
And Lewis is ahead about $1,000 so far.
It'd been interesting to see what Toby done if Jaka raises the turn there.
It was, I think, first or second show I've ever done in Italy.
150.
Wait, it's 150.
That wasn't mentioned again.
It was,
that's pretty
Mestre with the raise under the gun here. 9/10 of diamonds.
Oh, Jaka's got 7 deuce.
Sweet. Now, I think this is his first 3-bet of the evening. And Mestre, who's only on about 5K before the start of this hand, is this a better spot to 4-bet than the situation against Baumstein?
Okay, 7 deuce. There you go.
He just folded.
He folded.
And Jaka gets to show the 7 deuce and collect from the players. Everybody tosses over 100.
I think that was Torelli called it as well before he showed it. Called the 7 deuce.
Yeah. Now, if you're Mestre, you have to feel really bad because you're paying 100. It would have been really cheap to just peel off the flop there. And those are the dynamics that the 7 deuce game starts up.
Round of shots then? Whatever. Fine. Whatever you do something.
Baumstein is suggesting they double the limit, raise the limits to 50, 100. Personally, I think they're going to, that would actually make the game tighter in my opinion. I think they'd be way better off just sticking a straddle on.
Yeah.
Oh, it gets more money in.
It's so hard to find Japanese food.
In Italy, yeah. Practically impossible.
Yeah. Or
in Milano, there is.
Faraz has opened this with Jack 10 of clubs.
2 players.
Flatted on the button by Toby Lewis.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Because there is so many different cuisines. So, I mean, from Florence cuisine to
yes.
There we go.
Yes, that's something
Milan,
that,
Bologna, Parma.
Yeah, that's true.
And you know,
Naples,
Toby's just hit top pair here, King 10. If Toby just keeps hitting the flop as well as running this game, he's going to just destroy everybody.
Yeah, I suppose there are quite eclectic cuisines, but they're represented only in the country. Yeah.
Do you ever like anything but a call here?
No, they're too deep for anything else. Like he doesn't want. He just called. Keep the bluffs in from Jaka and just.
Yeah, it's funny.
I expect him just to call the flop. Probably just call the turn 2 and then decide on the river if Jaka bets again.
Their food isn't the best. It's just that.
If he raises, there's not a lot of hands he can get value from.
Yeah.
Poor Jaka caught bluffing once, and now having missed the flop here.
That's why I like variety.
And with the decision about whether.
Let's switch to Omar.
Kind of if he goes here, does he have to go 3 barrels, or do you kind of?
Yeah, I can't. I'm gonna be. I think he's gonna bet again, but I think it's. I don't think Toby's gonna be loving it if he bets again here, because like it's quite a weird card to double barrel.
150.
Like now.
At 750 as well.
I say, unfortunately, from Jaka's point of view, if Toby calls here, you kind of eliminate all draws, right? Because of the board, that it has to be kind of a king.
Yeah, I mean, well, the flops like King 8-4, there's not really many draws that Toby could even call with on the flop. I think Jaka's bet the turn, maybe try and make Toby fold any pocket pairs he's called with on the flop.
Well, there's 2,400 in there. I mean, from Jaka's point of view, he was shown bluffing the last time. If he sticks a nice, big old chunky pot-sized bet in here, can he get Toby off all his kings?
Check.
I think he's checked. He's given up. He's gone check on the river.
That's the right thing.
Yeah, I think he's just bet the turn to try and make Toby fold like 7s, 9s, 10s maybe. Just try and make him fold all his pocket pairs, which is quite likely to have like just call in the raise pre on the button.
Tony G is approaching the table.
Want to sack everyone. Want to come in and sack everyone. The whole, all of your team. Where are all these donkeys? What are they doing here? Here, take it.
He's played in 5 seasons, including season 4, where he achieved a £150,000 profit.
The main thing is to bring a lot of cash. When you come to my game, bring a big bag. I am the greatest. To get all the money in like this, who can do this in the whole world? There's no one. Only Tony G can do this.
Tony G is about to join our table. You are a face that we have seen here at the big game. You have history here. How much of that history do you bring in, and how much do you try to leave behind at each different game?
I don't really care about the history. I've had a great run in nearly every TV cash game that I've played. I've been successful, been a winner. It's easy. I'm not even a good player, and I can win all the time. So how easy it should be for the good players. The problem with those guys, that lot there, is they're all nits. They're all closed, they're in a shell, they're afraid, they're saving their €100, they're thinking that's their bus fare home. And you know, they don't want to lose the last one. So I can put pressure on them, I can put money pressure on them, I can put psychological pressure. It's going to be real full-on war. I hate all of them. I hate them all with a passion. I've had a look at them and I hate every one of them. It's the first time I can see the table where I hate everyone.
Watch out, table. Here comes Tony G.
Welcome back. We are in Barcelona, the first stop for the Big Game Season 7. We'll be stopping in 4 locations around Europe for this Big Game season. Players, of course, buy in for between 5 and 20,000 euros. Player evictions are one of the hallmarks of the Big Game, where an online audience gets to vote for the players they want to stay in and who should go out next, making room, of course, for that growing list of superstars and poker chancers who want to get in on the action. We got action here. And Baumstein with the little loose 3-bet. Oh, Torelli with the queens. And is, like, obviously he's going to catch Balaguer here, but is this the right play, do you think, the cold 4 rather than?
Full.
Yeah, I think he has to. Balaguer's in a tough spot here because he knows like that Torelli's seen Baumstein 3-bet with like no hand a couple of times.
That's right. This is the 3rd time Baumstein has 3-bet Balaguer.
I can see Balaguer coming in for a 5-bet here. He's definitely thinking about it.
His problem is he's only sitting on about 8,000. So if he comes in for a 5-bet, he's committing all his chips.
Yeah, that's what ace folded.
A fairly mature fold, would you say?
Yeah. I think he doesn't want to commit 8k there, and he's not certain. Like, this is the first cold 4 from Torelli as well. He knows Torelli is capable, though, so that's why it makes his decision really tough.
Baumstein's a little bit deeper. He can close the action with position, but is ace-9 suited a good, strong enough hand to be playing post-flop? Oh, boy. Wow! And he's going to get caught here, right? I mean, Torelli is not going to lay down the 2 queens.
Wow, he's chucked in.
Opening up.
He's just put all his money in, basically.
He's gone all in, basically. Yeah, Torelli's not folding here.
The problem for Torelli, right, is that he knows Baumstein in the sense that it's not jacks or 10s. I mean, it has to be a bluff or a big hand, right? I mean, just can't fold queens.
I don't think he's going to fold here.
He looks sick. He looks sick.
So Baumstein's basically shoved for 10k here. I mean, he hasn't put it all in, but he's never folding after putting 6,400 in, but he's basically shoved for 10k.
Now, there's a lot of guys who, and he's called them, and they're not running it twice. Torelli's going to feel that. Did Baumstein make a slip up here, or in the overall scheme of things, he looks like he's upset.
You thinking about folding over there?
Just thinking about thinking, I guess.
I mean, I'm never folding.
Yeah, I didn't think you were folding. I just.
He's not happy with how long Torelli took to call there.
Yeah.
They make it 3.
Yeah, I thought that maybe was it.
You put me in, right?
Yeah, this is 10K.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, we're good.
Do we run it? Well, we only run it once?
No, hold on.
Well, I mean,
Wait, stop.
I mean, do we have an option?
Yes, we do. I'll run it twice if you want.
I don't know if they let us. Last year they didn't let us.
Hold on. Only one time. Okay.
Give me cards.
Now they just wanted to ask if they were gonna be allowed to run it twice. They're not. Not in this cash game. And Torelli he's just gotten the bad news. Holy Toledo! This is gonna spice the game up.
You can hit a 4 on the river.
I think a 4 is coming on the river.
I think a queen.
Look how big this pot is, nearly 20,000 euros.
I think you'd take a 4 at this point.
Is it like 10,000? 11?
Oh, would have been changed.
Baumstein's got lucky there. I'm not a fan of that play.
This would be
Put in 200 bigs, like a bit of a guess, really.
I mean, what were the dynamics that had Baumstein doing that? The fact that he knew Torelli thought he was quite weak.
I think the fact that he's shown down weak hands that he's freed bet already, and I think he's
just taken a little too far.
Yeah, he's free bet a couple of weak hands, and the ones that he's had to show as well. Now,
500.
I think he thinks Torelli's just noticed that too, and he's using the spot. But
Torelli's thinking, dude,
when he
big money. You don't put big money in without a big hand. He's thinking.
I was surprised actually. Torelli took so long to call there with queens.
He's almost like he's a little snake bit there, Torelli.
Baumstein wasn't happy with the nit roll, but he's gone quiet now. I don't think he minds too much now.
Well, you always wonder who's going to be the first guy to get in it, to get buried, to get stuck, to go behind. And it is Alec Torelli, who Jennifer Tilly fondly calls Tiltorelli. So that's her name for him. So we'll see if Torelli is prepared to tilt.
See if he lives up to that name.
450.
450.
He seems like he's free bet him.
He's 3-betting with a 7 deuce. Oh, this is good stuff. This is going to be good stuff. And Baumstein's who's got the ace high.
He's voted.
Anyone want to buy out?
Get it.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay.
Take an extra 100 a player. Pass it around, guys. You can't sit on the sidelines.
Baumstein's just doubled up, and now he's not interested in the ace jack off now.
Right, and everybody at the table has just PO'd at him for laying down so easy to a man who's re-raised with the 7
He had a
deuce.
hand too. He had ace jack. I mean,
to me though, Torelli seems like one of those guys. I was saying, he just getting stuck kind of focuses him and warms him up. I mean, he already looks more fresh and focused than he did when he got here.
Everyone loud. Everyone's fired up. Let's get
I
really
hear
excited
somebody.
and play some poker.
That's Tony G.
Let's really get going. Come on, let's go. Let's get some straddles happening.
Mestre's opened under the gun here with the 10-8
What's
to
happening, guys? You've been all knitted up.
Yes, he is. Is there a name as synonymous with the big game as Tony G's?
You're waiting for better cards. They all become so ugly. The look of every hand. You just got to be like more open-minded.
Sporting a nice little new facial growth there. This is the new G.
That's pretty good.
Boy, he looks like he's in good form.
Those are all important references, you know.
I just have to use this down when I speak.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say.
Yeah, you worry too much about your...
Double vodka Red Bull and a massage.
Yeah, a massage. Come on, Jungle. Start making some money. The money didn't arrive. At least you can have a new career. There you go. 1,000 euros a minute. Who wants to join
Mestre's
next?
opened under the gun, and Toby's just peeled in the big blind with Jack 10.
Good. He's had training.
Gentleman's giving Tony his massage.
He was smart.
So classic.
That's what happens.
Pimping
You
himself
jump
out.
on the G, and we can play together.
Gotta
and
do
learn.
what you gotta do to get in a poker game. Everybody's
all
gotta start.
done- we've done all
Everybody's
this
gotta
at
start
one
somewhere.
Yeah, the biggest superstar
Toby's
in the
check
game
called the
is
flop
giving
here
you a
with the gut
It'll
shot.
be like in 2
Right, now
hours,
if
he'll be
Mestre
giving
had
you a
had the
massage
10
on the
jack
poker
there, he
table.
would have definitely checked raised.
Taking my money. and saying,
Get his lower back. Get his lower back.
Did you bring plenty of jello with you?
Wow, good card for Mestre. Flush draw now.
Done a good job.
think Toby's probably just going to
We'll
check
find
fold
the
the
money.
turn now.
Warren, give him 20,000 out of corporate credit card.
I've definitely got the checkbook.
Give him 20,000 check, the take checks.
Check.
Got a check
Wow.
guarantee card with you?
A little bit worried about Toby potentially having a queen, I guess.
Bwin has
I think
unlimited money.
it's going to work out well for Mestre because I think Toby's going to have to lead the river now. I mean, he's got Jack high, he's going to lead the river. I don't think he's going to bet too big, and then he's obviously going to fold when he gets raised on the river.
He's really got no choice here if he wants to try and win this
I
pot.
don't think he's going to bet too big. I basically bet about like 400, 450 maybe.
He's 1,000 euros a minute.
Yeah, 450.
That's what you win online.
That's the cost. 1,000 euros a minute. That's what you
Expect Mestre to make it like 1,200 now, and Toby's going to fold pretty quickly, I should think.
Right, I mean, not a bad check by Mestre back on the turn because you can see by the way Toby Lewis has acted that he would almost never expect Mestre to check anything back on the turn.
20 seconds you got on you.
Raise
I
1,200.
have like a spot right here.
I take money bookers too.
It takes money.
And this hand should be done. But if Lewis wants to get really freaky, it doesn't need to be done.
Toby's just thinking now whether Mestre would have checked back a flush draw on the turn. That's what he's thinking now.
Good job, John. It's good. He's good. He's really like.
Obviously, he can't call, but he can. He's thinking about raising now.
Right. I mean, and from
I think he expects Mestre to bet his flush draws on the turn, but he's made the right read.
It means your confidence in your sexuality.
You can tell by his face that he thinks it doesn't make much sense there.
Yeah, you're right. Sorry about that. Left-handed.
All right, let's go. We get some straddles.
There's a jungle man giving him a massage.
Let's do it. Just do one straddle.
yeah, and what's happened? I think the Jungleman's money transfer, his bank wire has not arrived yet, so
in to win.
He's resorted to trying to give Tony a massage for tips to try and get in the game.
He's trying to make the buy-in.
How
many hours does he need to do to make the 5K buy-in?
The clock is ticking on this 12-hour cash game. More from Casino Barcelona after this. We're bringing you all of the action from the Party Poker Big Game at Casino Barcelona. It's a stunning setting here in Port Olympic beneath the luxury of the Hotel Arts. There are just a few hours on the clock, so let's head back into the casino with your commentary team led by Jesse May.
Well, Alec Torelli has made a visit to the cash desk. He's topped up for 10,000 euros more. They've had a count of the chips, and here's the leaderboard. On the left, that number represents the player stack at the table. On the right, their profit and loss in the big game. You can see Baumstein, the big winner so far, 11,000 euros ahead, while Torelli, 10,000 euros behind. That was on virtue of that big hand they played together. Tony G just in, but look at these stacks with Baumstein, Tony G, and Torelli all having an around a 20,000 euro stack. They can play a big pot now.
Paid off. Yeah.
200 didn't work good.
Fall for me. Fall. Raise 300.
We'll see who joins along with him at that.
This is a game. This is now you can feel.
Have you ever
this
been in
is a
games
game
like
now.
that when
You felt the
everybody's
pressure,
doing a
right?
shot and
When you
that
have
kind
to
of
move
thing?
already.
Yeah.
You felt a little tingle.
It can get you out of your
A little
comfort zone.
something, you know?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Unlike the guy, you know, like the slot machine,
Toby's
you always
coming
put
from
money
mid-range
in, and
with a
there's
7-8
always
off
one
there.
guy playing. That's the best. It's not like you just get. You always got a challenge, you know. You always got a spin.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. You always get a spin.
It's the best. It's not just that you put money in and there's nothing coming, you know, just giving you a return. No, you're getting a
I
spin.
know, he's made it 300 with the 7-8. And Tony's defending 5
Happens,
deuce.
you know,
Got to
check,
defend
check,
your live
fold,
strat.
fold. Easy. Check, fold, check, fold, check, fold. Beautiful. Okay, friends.
Check.
He's not wrong about that, Tony. He likes that check, call, check, fold line.
Not too friendly.
Yeah.
500.
And he's definitely going to call here, and yeah, he doesn't take any time either, does he?
Liberal definition.
I think he had that in before Toby had his bet in there.
On the turn.
Now this is where Toby's going to have to make some decisions. Well, he's actually
He's
quite
made a
good
pair
card.
now. I
Right.
expect this to go check a lot of the time now. And then Toby will decide on the river. Yeah.
Now it's whoever has the better kicker.
I bet 600.
600.
Fairly large. for a
Instant
blocking
call.
bet.
I got a 5.
I did.
And Lewis
Salam.
eating up another player in another pot.
Toby's instant called the river there, and he, like, I think the bet was quite small from Tony G.
Nice hand. Well, there's 2,000 donated.
There's no cool way to
What's the
describe it.
opposite of open-minded? It's being traditional, right?
Yeah, probably.
200?
Like golf. I put like a
Thank
bear
you.
here.
Yeah.
You know, when you have to swing and
I will tweet about traditional
Saddle,
players.
100 every time.
I don't think you can be folding too many rivers like that though, because he's he's not going to be. He lead like I'm not really sure why Tony led the river there. I guess he's bluffing. I'm not really sure, but
There was a weird bet. Got the straddle. I'm not sure if the straddle's out there, but
I think there must be a straddle. He's open to 250s, but yeah, Baumstein's put the straddle on.
Ah, of course. Right you are.
For the VPIP.
Be interesting to see who wins this hand when they both have the same hand.
And there is the dynamic, isn't there, of the big pot they played earlier, ace-9 versus 2 queens.
Check.
How does that affect things here? Just the grudge, perhaps?
Yeah, you try not to let it affect you, but it's definitely always in your head. You know the guy's just taking 10k off you.
Call 400.
400 bet and called, and conclusive proof that the great chips are worth 100 euros each.
Really quick call from Baumstein on the flop.
Check.
Generally, more quick calls on the flop like that are generally more often than not they are draws like what he's got.
So should that encourage Torelli to go 3 barrels here?
I think he's definitely going to bet again. He's got...
Bet 1,000, 150.
And he's chosen a very large bet size. Is that because he wants to put Baumstein under pressure with some sort of hand like a random 9 or something?
Yeah, he's trying to make him fold out at 9s, and also as well, like he's got decent equity against like any 9 or any one pair hand. Like he's still a decent chance of winning the hand.
How should Baumstein read this bet? I mean,
I think the way it's played, Baumstein's probably going to have to fold now. It seems quite strong from Torelli, this bet.
Baumstein also might be thinking, you know, a bad guy to bluff at a bad time. The guy that I just put the killer beat on. Or is he going to get more respect if he raises right now? They're both quite deep here. Even though this is a 1,000 bet, they've both got over like 15 or 16,000 back. Oh, he's really tanking here. Is the reason he's tanking so much is because he doesn't want to call?
Too much of
I think he doesn't know what to do. It looks like he generally doesn't know what to do.
Wow.
I think he's called, and I think he's probably going to call like the river if he hits a jack or a queen as well. I think he's decided those outs are good as well. I think this river's going to go check, check.
It's interesting. I mean, if Torelli puts Baumstein on a 1-pair hand, then he might want to make a thin value
Yeah,
bet.
he might go thin. He might bet like, I mean, there's 3.6 in the pot now. He might bet like 1,500 or something for value.
Check. Check.
It has gone check,
gone
check.
check,
Yeah, same hand.
Show first, I don't know. Show first.
Me?
Yeah, that's action I also. Jack. Queen Jack.
No love lost here, I'll tell you what. Both these guys, like, who? Is it me to show first? They don't want to give anything away.
The extra one I put in, huh?
And they'll split that pot up. Let's have a look at the scores. This is just how the players are doing in the game without relation to their stacks. Baumstein, the big winner so far. Torelli, the big loser. And
Smoking's allowed here?
Well, Tony G's gotten off to a horrendous start. So is Pescatori. Everyone's got their own sort of theory about how to approach a cash game. If it's better to always have the most chips in play, or you play your stack.
That's all you have?
I think it depends on your style of play and what you're most comfortable, whether you're more comfortable playing deep or shallow. I mean,
sure. And also the seat at the table, it can be really important too.
Yeah.
Out of chips.
Raise 300.
I actually rather have the plaques than the chips.
Max getting interested here.
Plaques are useless.
Call 300.
Huh?
They're all useless, aren't they?
Yeah.
Call.
Wow, and Balaguer just folded the ace 8-10 suited on the button. I don't know.
So you don't have like a ton of chips.
Isn't that a really tight fold?
Kind of weird.
He's playing 8K right there. That seems. He's on the button too. That seems. I'm really surprised at that actually, that he hasn't overcalled there.
Me too.
Really cool when they're as substantial as they're supposed to seem.
Check.
Big then.
Yeah. So when they're 1K.
I mean, I'm thinking about TV show. Not about
everyone checking that
TV
flop.
show, putting big stacks probably.
You don't think people are going to be looking to bluff Pescatori when he's raised free flop?
He sees a lot of chips going in a pot.
Yeah, maybe.
It's cool from Tony on the turn that I really like. I mean, I don't think
Pescatori's
Pescatori's ever really bluffing here after he's checked the flop.
Bet 1000.
Right, and G was going to have a lot of trouble trying to bluff that river if he missed anyway, wasn't he?
Yeah, and I mean, his hand's pretty obvious, I think, when he... I mean, he hasn't really got an ace, so he's pretty obviously got a flush draw. And
We're keeping the straddles going?
Yeah. We gotta keep it going, otherwise we're gonna...
Are you complaining about
I'd
playing
like
easy
to have seen
poker?
a check from Pescatori on that river there. I mean,
Right.
there wasn't many hands you could get value from.
Yes, that's why we need some excitement. Imagine you
By betting.
played like you
I
did
mean, maybe
online
it could
live.
call with a 7, but
Call.
Yeah, I want to make much sense.
more likely to induce Tony to bluff if you check, like for the missed flush draw.
Call.
They've got a bit of history. Max Pescatori played in the last one of the previous Premier League mixed games with Tony, and they gave a lot of needle back and forth.
Call 300. Call.
Starting to see some big hands coming out
I
now.
know.
11.
Okay, well Mestre is going to get smacked here, isn't he? He's made it 1100. And actually, it's going to be quite awkward for him, isn't it? If he gets shoved on by Balaguer.
Is Torelli thinking? Oh no, has he folded?
No, it's back to Adria.
Oh, okay.
I mean, is...
Call 1100.
I like this flat. I really like this flat call. Because of Mestre's stack size, if he knows if he 4-bets now, he's so obviously committed, and really like this flat call.
He's got a much better chance of getting Mestre stack here, you think?
Yeah, yeah. I think if he 4-bets, Mestre has to fold 8s because it's obvious he's committed. Well, and now he's gonna wish he just took it down pre-flop. Yeah. But I mean, he's got really unlucky here. I really like the flat call. I think this is gonna go in on the flop. I think.
Mestre having a little bit of a think. I guess
check.
He doesn't want to chase away the ace queens and the ace kings. Is that his thought to check here?
I think I'd be interested to see what Mestre would have done if he hadn't have flopped an 8. Because I wonder if he recognises that Balaguer's flat call is quite strong there. I mean, there's not many hands he's going to be flat in 1100 when he knows Mestre's only playing 5k total.
Right, and we already saw Balaguer fold a couple of hands to the 3 and 4 bets.
So like the flat call is actually pretty strong, but I don't think, not sure whether Mestre would have recognised that.
Now they can get this in any way they want. On the flop, on the turn, sideways. It's really hard to imagine Balaguer ever being able to get off this hand.
I think he's Mestre loves a check raise, doesn't he? I think he's just gonna. He's doing a bit of Hollywood. He's doing some good acting. And he's gonna check raise, and Balaguer's probably just gonna think he's got queens or something, and he's gonna see the bad news on the flop. I think it's just gonna go in now, though.
All in.
Yeah.
All in.
Snap call.
Call.
Snap call against the set, and Balaguer who you like the way he played it. I mean, he played it to win money, didn't he? He
Yeah.
wasn't scared.
I mean, I think Mestre is going to come out betting if he doesn't flop a set.
Get the nuts and
I'm
get it
not
all
sure
in.
whether he would have recognised how strong Balaguer's call was.
Close to, yeah. Not getting
What now?
Oh.
Hey!
Listen, you know what you need? You need a date with
Look
a knight.
at that.
Otherwise, you go home.
Mestre.
Tony's giving him the needle
He
on the
is.
turn
He
already.
is.
Date with a knight.
Yes.
He's telling him he's got to go home on the turn.
I mean, Mestre feels sick as a dog right now. He's just been too outed here. Although,
Can happen. I've seen it happen.
everyone's got their own ideas of justice. Balaguer feels like the ace was well deserved.
So close as well.
I think he's got me there.
And how is that going to change the game? Well, first we're going to see if Mestre wants to rebuy
It's close.
or not.
It's kind of close.
He's either reaching for his cell phone or more money.
He's pulled out a plaque. Looks like a
Plenty in
5k
there.
plaque.
You got plenty in the bag.
So
not
he's
playing
giving-
big enough.
Yeah, he's beautiful.
He doesn't give him a minute.
Got a
Doesn't
big
give
bag
him a
of
minute.
chips in there.
Look how
You can
happy
put 20
Tony is about a guy get flopping a set and losing. He's almost gleeful. Loves
Yeah,
it.
it's there.
He gave us a bag. I have a bag right here.
Everyone's got a bag of 20.
And we'll be seeing a lot of this in the big game. Those big yellow plaques, which are, looks like, is it 10,000 euros? That's a nice.
Oh, okay. I think he's changing.
I think everybody looks forward to the day when casino chips can be exchanged for goods and services in regular stores and are better than money, you know. And for most poker players, there are. I mean,
Mucha mierda when people go in Spain. Do you say that
so it's
too?
10,000 euros Mestre's added on.
That's a Spanish thing.
Strada 100.
And
On the theater. Huh.
It's interesting that he bought in for 5 and he's topped up for 10.
Not in poker.
so you know what's coming next,
He's,
right?
he's chasing, yeah.
Right.
So
So if he loses this, he'll definitely buy in for the full 20.
One time is when
he's got to get out of it, yeah. He needs to get out of it, so.
You don't want to waste it there.
Yeah, certainly not.
Full.
Once you use it,
It's funny watching Tony
You
G
don't get
look at
another
his
one.
cards. He seems generally gutted when he has a hand that he can't, like, he can't enter the
Yeah,
flop with.
he just wants to play.
He really wants to play. He seems generally gutted.
Culo la balena.
Full.
Baumstein with the raise of the straddle. They're straddling every hand at this stage of the big game. That's 25 blind to 50 blind, and the 100 blind after that is live. Which means if it comes back around, that person can react on their hand.
This is what you were talking about earlier. Torelli's flat called with the 7 deuce.
And it is very deceptive, isn't it?
Yeah.
And remember, Torelli's already won a pot with the 7 deuce, which he 3-bet before the flop. So
No one will put Torelli on 7 deuce in this hand.
Are we playing 7 deuce?
yeah.
They're talking about the 7 deuce as well.
they are now.
Torelli's got to keep a straight face.
Yeah, now, how does he want to play this? Is he obliged to stick a lot of money in here that he's got bottom pair, or...
He's got some showdown value now, but I mean, I think he may check raise this flop.
And this is one of the reasons people don't often flat with the 7 deuce. It's a very, very tricky hand to play post flop.
I mean, this is gonna get costly now. I think he's gonna go for the check raise, and Baumstein's not folding.
Wow.
He's flopped 2 pair.
Raise 1600.
And I think Torelli's now gonna lose a few thousand trying to win the 600-700 we were talking about earlier.
He is, but how does Baumstein want to play it? I mean, obviously it's 2 pair, but it's the bottom 2 pair, and it's a drawy board.
Yeah, I expected they're 20k deep. I expect him just to call now. He doesn't want to be getting 20k in with a bottom 2 pair here, so I expect him just to call.
Because
he knows Torelli can be bluffing here too, or he can have draws. But I mean, if they get 20k in, Torelli's probably going to have a
better hand.
A better hand, yeah.
I mean, in fact, there's draws, but all the value hands, they kind of beat Jack 7, don't they? I mean,
yeah, Yeah, he's not really beating many value hands that check raise. I mean, but I mean, Torelli could be check raising for value with a big combo draw like Queen Ten of Spades or something.
So that's a great card from Baumstein's perspective.
Yeah, he's loving that card.
In fact, he may have been prepared to even give it up and become like a 9 of Spades or something, but not now.
I think that was probably the only way Torelli was going to win the hand. Yeah, Torelli's.
Check.
He was checking to give up there, my guess. Oh.
I think he's going to have to bet big.
Is Torelli having a problem here that Baumstein could very well have just hit this flush, or does that... Is he still obligated to bet it?
I think he has to bet now. The fact that Baumstein checks back the turn makes it seem like he probably has some showdown value.
Of course.
So, yeah, he's bet.
And he's gone for, it looks like about 2 grand.
28, I think he said.
Is it 28? Oh my gosh. That's a
He's bet
huge
2,800.
bet. Into 4,000.
I think, considering Baumstein's hand, I think he probably should fold here, but whether he will or not.
I guess Baumstein, is he trying to work out what kind of bluffs Torelli could have? I don't think he's calling to you. And the great thing is, if he does fold here, Torelli has to show the 7 deuce to collect the extra 600 from the players.
This is gonna be a fun show if he fold. I actually want him to fold just so he get the needle with the 7 deuce being shown.
It's hard when I can't have 7 deuce.
Oh, he said 7. Did he say 7 deuce?
Good.
Torelli just said he's got 7 deuce.
Yeah. Baumstein asked him if he had it. Torelli said, how could I have it? Meaning, I think.
I could have it, he said.
Wow. I think he put him on it. That's amazing. It changed everything. The 7 deuce not only created the big pop, but Deadman, I mean, Baumstein did mention it. It figured into his decision.
Yeah.
And he is now destroying this game. He's beat Torelli with the worst hand. Now he's beat him with the best hand. And Torelli's getting owned. I mean, it's tough. It's tough. Torelli could have played the hand a couple different ways, but in hindsight, you would have said if he had checked there on the river, that was just kind of too weak, right?
I mean, did you call a 3-bet with Jack 7?
No, but you don't have to. I don't think you have to 3-bet the 7 deuce.
Yeah, but not supposed to have 7 deuce.
Call only before the flop.
I'd like to see him bet bigger on the river. I mean, 28 was quite big already, but I think he could maybe bet over the pot on the river.
Right, right. Just kind of just spiral out of control.
Well, it just make it so like your hands like either the nuts or air, and there wasn't many air hands he could have.
No, with the straddle, it's
Go to 15.
So nice call by Baumstein, though. Certainly indicative of a guy who's really thinking. Or it's just a massive payoff version.
He thought about it on the river. I think he picked up a read. He was staring him up and down.
Check.
We haven't seen Jaka in a mini pots, which is quite surprising.
Yeah, he's definitely
pretty card dead, I guess.
And he hasn't been talking. He's taking his foot off the gas a little.
Check.
So Baumstein, he raised pre-flop and then slipped this flop. What do you do that for? Just, I guess, pot control sort of thing? Deception?
Yeah, deception. I think he's going for deception.
400.
And if he plans to make the ace-jack work as a bluff catcher, that's exactly what he's done. The thing is, there's so many hands that beat ace-jack right now, aren't there? It's gonna be a little nervous.
Yeah, I think he's just going to decide on the river. He's obviously checked back for deception, so he's never holding the turn.
The jungleman, I was just doing commentary with him last week, and he was talking about these new rules that he's written that are in the new Jungleman Bible. And the one
You're
rule
too
of the
expensive even for me,
New Jungleman Bible, he said, is that when someone bets turn and bets river, you should always fold. And here with Pescatori, he would have been right. Pescatori knuckled the river there, so...
Come, she's coming.
Yeah, I think he's
You can be
given
the
up on the river.
supervisor.
I like his check. He's recognised that Baumstein is
probably calling him.
As probably
Or if
calling
you
on
want,
the
you can
river.
massage her while she's massaging me.
This is a...
And that
Seems
way
like
she
he's
has to
thinking about
massage the
calling him a
same
king
spot.
high now.
Wherever you massage her,
I wonder, it's a...
she massages me.
It's nearly
you
a
massage
pot-sized bet by Baumstein. I mean, I think this
wherever you
is
massage her,
this
she
is
has to
all where the
massage me.
cash game mysteries happen.
Right, so you tell me how to work.
People aren't really willing to check it down, guys like Baumstein and Torelli, if they think there's value to be had.
And who gets the money at the end of all this?
Quite like this big bet. He's trying to
not
rep
about the
like
money, it's
9,
about
10,
pressure.
or maybe some of a misflush draw himself. He's trying to get hero called from. I think Pescatori had a pair. He probably would have called by now.
And he's judged his man quite right. I mean, Pescatori,
Not
like,
yet. It might be soon.
he may be quite conservative, but he's quite prepared to make the hero call, isn't he? You could just see that about him. Look, he's called him with king high. Diggity dog. And, like, he's gotten owned there. I mean, he has just gotten so soul-owned. If Baumstein bets the flop, he gets nothing.
Yeah.
He checks the flop, just gets
poker.
max value.
Better lucky than good. You know that, son.
It's not lucky, it's just like...
We're back for more after the break. The big game is in the home of the Spanish architect Gaudi. Barcelona is the first stop of Season 7. Beneath the Hotel Arts and Casino Barcelona, big names are in action as we play out the world's most famous cash game. Unique to the big game is the player evictions. Previously, players have voted against each other in a secret ballot. But this time round, it's exclusively down to the online viewers. They're voting for who they would like to keep in the game, and the player with the least amount of votes will be sent packing. That's coming up shortly, but for now, back to the action.
Great business.
I can see a couple of big names on the rail there. Matt Salzberg, we can see him watching in red. He's a WPT champion. And, of course, the Jungleman, who obviously looks like he's dying to get in this game.
Like the same
215, raise.
Who do you think's going to be voted off?
That's a good question. They've changed things slightly this year. Instead of voting players off, the audience is voting to keep players in, which so it'll be the player with the least amount of votes that'll get evicted. That's a tough call. That is a tough call.
Go to 15.
I wonder if it could be one of the local players. I don't know. Although I think they're both giving good action.
They are giving good action, yeah. I'd like to see Mestre stay though, because I think he's giving some good action and like.
I would too.
He's not worried about playing.
I would. I absolutely would as well.
Check.
And also, you know, once a guy's gotten behind in the game, you feel
You
like,
kind of want him to, you want him to have at least a chance to get out of it. Yeah.
You know, and he showed a lot of courage there. I mean, he lost the 5 instead of buying in for another 5. He's gone for the 10. I mean, you know, he's a proper gambler.
Torelli's about to lose some more money here. He's already down 15, is it?
Yeah, he's already down 15, and he's airballing now.
He's not running good.
Well, at least this is sort of like a mercy end to this hand, because he can just let it go. And you can see that look Torelli's got on his face right now. He's thinking, is someone seeing my cards? Have I woken up on the wrong side of bed today? Oh, excuse me. He didn't get check raised. It was just check called by Balaguer.
He just check called, yeah. He just check called.
Wow.
I think a check raise might have been a better option. Just
check.
So you keep some more bluffs in your range.
Right.
I think there's more chance of Torelli doing something if you check raise than if you check call. And Torelli's just given up on this hand now. He's never gonna put any more money into this pot.
I mean, all this stuff you're talking about is really difference between, you know, when the game gets to sort of a high level and all the players are accomplished. It just the easy stuff, you know, check call and hope you're going to get a big check raise on the turn with a flop set. It just doesn't work against these guys, does it?
I think check call and check raise looks like really strong as well. If you just check raise the flop here, like, you could have a really wide range. And Torelli might raise the flop, or he might float the flop. As soon as Balaguer's check called that flop, Torelli's done with the hand.
Right. So Balaguer, who was looking like he might be an early out, he caught the ace to make a set on the turn against Mestre, and now putting some pain to Torelli.
You guys doing the straddles or?
Still plenty of action.
Huh?
Still have plenty of action.
We've had plenty of action with the straddle.
Yeah. It's all going well. You don't want to do it?
I will sometimes, just not every time. Happy with the straddle.
For Torelli, he's only been here. Has it been an hour and a half yet? He's stuck 15,000, and it's been a couple of coolers all in a row, I guess, in a sense.
What is Ivy Poker? Is that the sort of players Ivy's producing now? It's a disgrace. You're an absolute disgrace.
Well, I don't know about
I mean, come on. You're representing a brand that's all about gambling and giving people a chance. What is this? What sort of people are you bringing here? Warren. There's a jerk here from Ivy Poker that won't do a straddle. The first guy that quietly tried to do it, he didn't do it. He just refused to do it. It's a disgrace. He missed the straddle, and then he tried to pretend like he didn't do it. Like, yeah, I'll do it sometimes, he said. I mean, where are these jerks from? What sort of nits are you producing? What are you doing? What's going on? There's no scammers here. What is this? You're a disgrace.
You finished yet?
You should walk out, get at the chips and go. It's a disgrace. Quietly try to cheat everyone out. It was an agreement. You didn't do it. You did it on purpose. It was very clearly agreed. Any player will tell you, ask them. It was agreed. You have to, before you stop doing it, don't be the first one, you're a cheat.
That's a little strong. I mean, that's actually kind of over the line, I think. But that's what Tony is. It should be pointed out that straddles are not mandatory. They are completely voluntary. But Tony G loves this opportunity to try and press home something he perceives as a reason to rag on the guys for.
Yeah, I think he's crossed the line. I think that was too much.
I mean, I'm not only am I not crazy about the word cheat, I don't think it has any place in the game at all. I think it's kind of funny for Tony to call out Toby Lewis on it.
Saving €100 for the bus fare home. That's what he's trying to do, right? Right, Jungle? You don't do that.
900.
You say, I don't want to do it, and it's fine, right? But when you do it, you pretend it's going on, and then you want to be the only guy that doesn't put it in. How about that? The only creep that doesn't put the straddle. Expects everyone to put the 100, and one smart guy with Ivy Poker jersey.
You have like 14 or 15,000?
I started with, I had 12, and then
12 behind. Okay.
Especially with Ivy Poker,
behind.
right?
Yeah, okay.
Ivy's a gambler. You can't put that sort of logo on and not straddle, and be the only guy that's trying to be a sneaker not to straddle. You should be putting 200. You should be putting 400 straddles out there.
It's my choice, isn't it?
Of course it is. It's all right. It's only a game.
More than a game for you, I think.
I just get emotional. I just lose it.
Sure.
It's over now. Don't worry. It's past. The way Warren.
He's a great.
He's all right. Okay. He handled it well.
He did. He only changed the color of his face, but everything else. Besides that, he actually handled it well. He didn't reply badly.
You're a big pussycat, really.
Yeah.
You know he's opening a zoo at his place.
He was right. Toby did handle that well, but he has got bright red in the face.
Is going to be a zoo?
Yes, well, you know, I mean, I don't think anybody could properly say the effect of a Tony G rant unless you're sitting in front of it. But look at this. So, was it? Did Baumstein raise this pot, Torelli 3-bet, and Baumstein 4-bet? Is that what's happened?
I think that's what's happened. Yeah, I'm not sure. I think there was there some limp pre? Because this wasn't straddled this hand, was it?
Torelli has limped, and maybe Tony opened for 200, and then Baumstein. Torelli definitely made it 900, and Baumstein's made it 3,100 from the small blind. But do you have this? You said it before. it feels like Baumstein's got
But
a
anyway,
read
we've
on
gotta bring more
Torelli.
animals.
He just
Yeah, I
can't be
think he
making
has.
this play.
He seems like he's,
gotta
well,
get some in
except
Spain.
obviously for the ace-9 hand, but I mean, he seems like he's made a lot of good decisions after that.
Yeah, I'm glad.
Amazing.
It's time to pick all the nits out.
I mean, this is just a straight out bluff by Baumstein.
Yeah,
No
he's
nits.
turned his hand into a bluff.
That was friendly though, wasn't it? What? Did you hear me?
And Torelli, I guess, recognizing the possibility
I'm
of this,
glad.
is he
Have
thinking
you been
about
on there?
shoving? I mean, he's got so many
You
chips
got to
to
work. You got to
shove
start
with.
earning your wage. Like
He could make it like
it's not just a matter of earning. You got to
13,000.
start feeling you deserve what you've made. And
Torelli raises now, he's
yourself,
committed.
Deep
I think
down,
his only
you know you
bet
don't
is all
deserve
in
what
now,
you-
right?
you
He's
don't
playing
deserve the amount of money you
13k,
get. You don't
yeah.
deserve
Okay, can't really put any
know
more
that.
chips in without being all in.
Yeah, but he was just pretending to
Amazing
get a
thing
job. The
about
only
these
one
live
giving me money
big
is me.
games is that
the last
Baumstein and
thing-
Torelli are playing
and
a
there's no one else
massive
that can
pot,
overtake you after
and meanwhile Tony
You know
G
that.
just having a complete
way-
rant
Yeah.
in the sidelines. You know?
Once you're in with me, there's no way
I mean,
to
it's
leave.
horrible for a guy like Torelli.
You know that.
G's just going nuts.
Yeah, I don't think this is very good,
Yeah.
like from Tony.
And
The,
you've been there once already. You've
the
gone
guys are
for
trying
the
to concentrate playing a 20, 30k pot.
Yeah,
And,
I mean, I think it's hugely out of line, and I love it.
Don't start doing job applications.
How could you not love it?
Barcelona. We need to get you.
I'm not sure if Torelli's in the mood for folding here. I think he's going to do it.
He looks sick.
He really wants to.
He's Baumstein's bothering him. Now Baumstein is bothering him. He,
I don't know, it's better the attacker though.
he can't get the right line on Scott Baumstein, who has owned Torelli so far.
can't have a.
And I just wonder, you know,
can't all be
Baumstein is
normal
one of
and
those guys to me who would be doing his homework. I wonder if Baumstein has grabbed a hold of all those old big games, watched Torelli, and found something. Because he's reading them like a book.
As long as you say, if you announce it before, you know, I'm gonna stop doing straddle, then it's okay. But you didn't announce it. You just pretend you didn't. That's why you got upset.
No, you did it. I didn't say anything until it was over. The hand was over. I was
Then you
keeping the
answered.
tension inside of me. And then
He
when it was
tried, he
over,
tried. I don't need to explain myself anyway.
Well, you can do.
I understand Tony's point, and that's what the other players are saying.
you can, of course. Anytime. Like you
It's
could
the-
choose to quit as well. You could just quit the game.
Raise.
Yeah, maybe.
600.
Yeah, I straddled.
No.
Well, Tony with the straddle, and it's a 200 straddle, and Toby Lewis 600 with the ace deuce. So don't say it's had no effect. Come on.
He would open this hand anyway. Did Tony fold?
Yeah,
I'm
he
surprised at that. I thought he'd
Tony
be
resorts like
calling
getting
any twos.
animals
Can you
or
imagine if
whatever
he busted Toby in that hand?
Are you getting a Tasmanian devil?
Did they actually
no,
all
the
agree
first
to
one was the
straddle? though?
jungle
I
man
think
himself.
Toby's saying they didn't agree. Like he didn't.
He had like 3 weeks there. And now we're getting all the animals sent from all over the world.
Come on, get a Tasmanian devil. I don't want to go to Australia to watch it.
I doubt he would have agreed to straddle and then just not straddle.
That's
So
not-
he
that is-
he obviously did
We've
not
got a
agree to
family,
it.
yeah, they
Correct.
probably like the
And,
environment there too. The Tassie Devil.
Oh, that's also the other name of French?
Yeah, Tassie Devil.
Tassie devil, okay.
Oh, we do have a 200 straddle out from Balaguer, so he's buying into the G philosophy of straddle, restraddle. And or maybe Balaguer's min-raised.
I think he min-raised under the gun, yeah. Jaka's flop chokes.
Okay, well that's good news, because if you want to see Jaka get involved,
700.
you're about to. And the lead out is quite interesting. How is Balaguer going to feel about that? He's got 6-7 here.
I think this is a pretty easy fold.
Really? Against Jaka, is it?
Oh, I don't think Jaka's going to lead here into Tony G, into 3 players without at least a draw that you're not doing that well against either. I mean, even if he's got like 7-9 there, Jaka, like the 6-7 isn't
and he bet
in great shape.
7 into 8, so that's a big bet.
I thought that seemed quite strong. Toby's obviously seen it as something else because he's decided to float one card. He's got some backdoors.
So he's read the big bet as sort of weak, which is kind
Yeah.
of Jaka's intention.
Yeah. He's got what he wanted.
And Jaka having a decision between trying to check and deuce or bet for value. It looks like he's just going to go with it.
I think he's just going to go for value.
And sure, what hand could Lewis have called with on the flop that he's prepared to fold on the turn?
1800.
He's bet big too.
I mean, obviously, Toby's plan when he floats this, in a sense, is that there's going to be some turn cards he gets busy with. Is this one of them?
Quite interested to see what he does here.
You know, or would he have?
I think he's going to recognise that Jaka hasn't really been doing much out of line, has he? Like he hasn't. This.
Yeah, but he's Faraz Jaka.
Yeah, I guess his reputation could get him paid here. He's gone for the double float,
which is really only setting himself up for a bluff on the river because he knows he's never hitting a 7. I mean,
his plan is just to hope Jaka checks the river, and he's gonna. And he's just going to bet small and try and...
So what should Jaka be thinking? I mean, he's thinking...
He's gone all in,
yeah.
So...
he's actually hoping to get called here by, like, a pocket pair now, right? Or something.
Yeah, I guess, yeah. He's...
Are you not crazy about the bet on the river, or is it just because we can see the hands?
I think it's just because we can see the hands. I think he just has to shove the river for value.
When he comes. Yeah.
Pressure is mounting for these 8 as the first player eviction is heading their way. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. Eviction time is looming, and one of our players will be headed out the door, voted off by the online viewers. Let's get back to the action.
Well, there's some tension around this table as the eviction looms. Nobody wants to get kicked off this table, especially by the online audience. But more money required. Torelli putting up 6,000 on his stack, while Max Pescatori adding 2K to the top. We are nearly a quarter of the way through this 12-hour big game. Our players starting to feel the effects of the long session.
We're so distraught about this. Like,
no, I'm going to go out.
You're going to go out?
Yeah, sure.
Where? You're going to quit?
Yeah, I'm going to leave the game after this run.
Right. That's your solution to him not showing? He's quitting?
You know, I don't find any other.
And
I don't find any other.
oh, Mestre's quitting. He's quitting because Lewis isn't straddling? That's amazing.
I was enjoying the game.
I feel bad that he's quitting now. Yeah.
Oh, no. Listen, if a guy wants to quit, he wants to quit. This is...
Yeah, by the way, I'm totally fine with you not straddling.
Let's charity him 15 apiece every time.
Yeah, no one said about it.
We can all charity for this event. Yeah, we'll
no, it's too tilting. Out of principle, it's too tilting.
If you quit because of that, then we feel bad now.
Then we do a dot.
Yeah, it's too tilting to charity.
Site. We'll launch a site for you. People can donate online to support you.
Wow, they're kind of inside
Mestre
Mestre's head.
He wants to quit now because Toby's not straddling?
I think they've just gotten his head. I mean, he just seems a bit rattled by everything right now.
That seems a bit over the top, I think. Leaving the game because one person isn't straddling doesn't really affect that much.
I don't really care that much about.
You can use it as an excuse to leave if you want, that's fine.
Yeah, I think that's right what Toby's saying. He's just using it as an excuse to leave the game.
Yeah, well, if there is...
Nobody could quit. So don't straddle then, it's fine. Really? They told me nobody could quit until it was no big deal.
It's actually like I mean, he's under the gun if Toby does straddle. It's like the worst time for him to have someone straddling anyway.
Right.
I don't see why he's so bothered about it.
If you establish a rule, you can force anything. As soon as you agree on the rules.
I think that's fair.
If I have to stay because the rules
so,
I will stand.
Meanwhile, and this is what you gotta love about the big game all the time. Sometimes the table talk's more interesting than the hand, and now the hand comes into play here. Tony has check called the ace-4 here.
That would be a strange rule.
He's kind of got Balaguer on the hook, and now Balaguer's got off it.
you know, it's bad for their production. You know,
This is
like if
a
everybody
really
comes
good
in and
card
they're
for
just like,
Balaguer because I think he knows Tony's hand is like most likely to be a pocket pair or a 4 or a draw, so he's just going to go for 3 streets of value now.
That's just poker.
It's not. It's a TV game. It's a different story.
Yeah, he's bet 1800, just over half a pot.
I'm wondering how are they going to punish a player? I mean,
You can't.
So it's kill.
Well, I like that this is when the G's taking his time, going to make a good decision, or will he? Have a look at
This is the problem with peeling a 3-bet out of position with ace-4 off. You get into these spots too often where you're on the turn and he hasn't really got a clue where he is in the hand, and he's just like he's hanging on really.
You're guessing.
He's guessing, yeah. Now it's just purely down to his read, whether he thinks he has got unlucky on the turn, but I think Balaguer was probably going to put the pressure on anyway. I think Balaguer probably makes this same bet on the turn, whether he makes a pair or not.
And that's one. That's gotten G off the hand.
In Italy, we did a game where if you were...
Does popularity, is it important to you people?
Is it important for a cat what mouse think about him?
Sort of depends, really.
That's the question you should think about.
Is it? I'm not sure it's relevant, really.
I'm not happy with anything I'm saying, so say something intelligent.
I like the vibes of the game. Actually, I was thinking of quitting. Now that there is these vibes, I'm actually staying.
There's real passion here. I mean, there's real passion. I'm the one that's getting drilled here.
Are you? I thought I was getting grilled.
I'm losing 5,000 here. I am happy. Are you happy?
I don't know if you can be happy if you're losing 5,000.
You can be happy because it's better than losing 10,000.
I can be happy because it's just part of the game.
You can. It's all about being happy in life. It's not about being upset. So I get really tense, I release it, and then I'm fine. I'm a really like civil person. But I do get very emotional.
But you're a very fair person.
I think I'm very fair. I'm never like
Balaguer might get the 7-2 through here.
Now he has made it a very large 3-bet, hasn't he? Is that a giveaway?
Plus, it's just a game.
A full 3x or not?
Yeah, it's full 3x. Yeah, I don't know.
It's only here. It's only this. This is only part of this game.
Jaka doesn't look like he's given up with it instantly though.
Table, so.
Right.
Yeah. Understand? It's just here. We're just having fun.
You're dead right there, Jesse. He's read the exact same thing as you said.
I don't know what he's read. I just kind of feel like that Jaka was going to come to play at some point. You know?
He's 3x. He's 3x 3-bet, and Jaka's read it for weakness exactly like you did, and he's.
Everyone should give me 50.
If you fold 7 deuce, we say you have to give 100.
Yeah.
Remember?
So he lost 900 trying to win 800.
Yeah, look at that.
You want to back out of that too? 7 deuce. You're fine with that.
And it's just all the dynamics the 7 deuce brings into the game.
It's not written in the
Jaka
rule book
putting that
amount,
into his
you know, it's the
range
same
there,
thing
and that
he
was
did.
part of the reason he probably 4-bet.
If I wanted to quit that, I would.
It is Baumstein well in charge, and Balaguer, who's having a great time after looking a little rocky early.
I'm straddling.
Straddle, re-straddle.
Tony's got a 200 straddle on the.
He actually has the worst of all. He has other advantages, but.
So is Mestre still leaving the game, or has he changed his mind?
I have no idea.
That is true.
But
with me at the table, there's never a bad seat.
I think Mestre's realized that he's going to be under lots of pressure
Even the one
here.
behind, he's still good. He's winning.
I'm full of value. That's why they call me the businessman's friend.
Mestre has opened this button to 500.
Yeah, he did this last time on the 200 straddle, didn't he?
This is beautiful.
Oh, that's too.
Pescatori's woken up with ace king
This
again.
is poor I'm just laughing because Torelli, he keeps getting smacked. And I think one thing that we're going to see tonight, if you haven't seen it before, is the resilience of Torelli.
Yeah, and he's obviously going to have to call here when Pescatori eventually goes all in. He's going to have to call him again, and he's got the worst of it again.
Yeah, and it is a bit unfortunate for him. I mean, he's made a good play here.
Yeah. That's correct.
And really, from a pot odds point of view, he has no fold, does he?
Yeah, he's getting the right price, even if Pescatori has kings. Yes. He knows he's got 3 outs when he's calling here, though.
Call 3. That is.
Really surprised he's taken this long. Of
course
he
counts it out.
He knows he's got a call.
Same hand. Ace king, you're good.
He said same.
I feel like Torelli's going to win this one.
Yeah. 20.
I don't.
He's not running good. I don't know. I just got a feeling there's a 10.
Nah, it's early. It's about 6 hours. Get back to me about 6 hours from now. Then I think it'll be time for Torelli to go on a run. But the narrative here is definitely that he just gets buried.
44 exactly.
Oh, okay.
You're playing like.
If I'm not mistaken, it's 44.
And the friendly butcher's there.
There we go.
And you're protecting the flush.
It's not a very good flop for him.
No.
But
you know, maybe it is sort of the fact that Torelli came into this game looking like, as I said, he'd been up 24 hours, you know. So he's going to have very little change in the next 12, you know. The other guys will be getting less focused. He'll just stay the same.
You're even protecting that one.
Torelli's got some outs all of a sudden. A jack?
Friendly 3 out.
Not the jack of clubs.
No, it's 2 out.
Same use again.
Torelli must feel like he's getting bashed up a bit here.
Yeah, I mean, the days when not only very little goes right, but nothing goes right.
Take your seat, please.
I will testify in front of the grand jury of Italian
He's already stuck 20K.
laws that you actually lost this money in case you get called. Yeah.
You have to prove it, not them.
Well, we haven't even had our first elimination yet, and the battle lines have been drawn here. Big game 7. Torelli and Baumstein have got something going. Toby Lewis and Tony G with Mestre thrown in for good measure. And Pescatori is a good needler. He's actually got some good verbal jabs, Pescatori. Have you noticed that so far?
Yeah, I have. He was just, I think he just gave Torelli a bit of a rub down when he just doubled up with the ace-king.
He said to Mestre, "Is there a problem with my English? Can you not understand?" He's a tough guy.
It's a bit of a loose call from Pescatori on the button here with the 5 deuce.
You play the hand and want to delete.
Yeah, it sure was. This pot's been raised up to 250, hasn't it? At some point. It was Torelli, I think, who raised it.
Yeah.
No, you don't have the rights to have my results.
Okay, go on, Mr. Pirate, Italian Pirate.
I think he's going to get this through.
It's a solid player. Yeah, I mean, you split your tournament with.
Yeah, here comes Pescatori. I've got a feeling about this guy. He's one of those guys that, you know, old-time Vegas grinder. He knows how to win in a cash game. And Torelli has reached into the well again, Simon. He's topped up another 4K.
Again. Wow.
Raul, don't worry, I'm going to sack him from.
I think he should just keep the chip runner next to him. Just
he's got that magic bag.
Permanent upload, yeah.
What's the difference between going to UK and going to There's no difference.
No, nobody. Well, you can.
You don't deserve to be a
part of that group. You can go to UK, but you cannot live in America.
You know, I don't know what Torelli's limit here is, but I wonder if we're going to... We'll know when it comes.
He probably hasn't got a limit. He'll probably just keep topping up till he gets out of it.
This will be a last show with that logo.
Yeah, I didn't know why you didn't go.
Many people did now, but the problem is that they went back to bed. They didn't have that law, and they say, "Oh no, this law is in place."
Tony's still kneeling, Toby.
This is the end.
No, me, I have no problem. Yeah. But
We've been playing a few hours already and have yet to do an eviction, but I think that'll be coming up quite shortly, Simon. And you make... I don't know who to make the favorite here for the eviction. I think maybe, I kind of feel like it could be Mestre, just because he's talked about going so much.
Yeah, I think you may be right. I think it depends, like...
No, I don't.
I mean, he seems like he wants to go, so maybe people are going to...
Yeah, but of course you can only vote players to stay, and we'll see how what the audience... You know, sometimes the audience is seeing different stuff than we are.
Maybe the audience will vote for Mestre to stay just because they know he wants to leave, just to punish him.
He's let out for 800. Was it just a single raised pot pre-flop? I guess up to 200.
2,000. Raise 2,000. Fold.
You paid for the attacks.
This is quite a tough spot for Mestre now.
Because he's click raised it?
Yeah, I mean he's got top pair with not a real kicker. Like he's not. This is a good bluff from Tony.
I think it's superb. I mean, if Tony makes a big raise here, you know, it kind of makes it seem like he doesn't want to call.
Yeah.
This way, it just feels like 2 pair are set, doesn't it?
He has called.
Tony is famous for playing things like a set.
Be interesting to see whether Tony gives up on the turn and takes a free card here. Did Tony check raise the flop or is he in position?
He's check raised the flop.
He check raised the flop.
Small blind.
Be interesting to see what he does here then.
Well, I mean, Mestre's got about 7 grand. There's 5K in the pot. So really, you know, Tony could feel like he's got a pot-sized bet here.
I feel like if he shoves, he's going to get called.
Tell you one thing.
Mestre doesn't seem like he's in the mood for folding now.
No,
he wants to leave anyway.
Yeah.
Do you think he'll hit and run if he doubles up?
Definitely. Actually, I'll tell you what, if he does double up, he might feel like he's got some chips to play with.
Yeah, I'd say so. Around 7. 7 and change, I think. Yeah, 7.3 or around that.
Tony's... He's really torn between 2. And this just has to do with what he thinks Mestre is going to do here, right? His problem now is he can get blown off the pot, right?
Yeah, I think he's checked to give up. I think Mestre should bet now. I think if Tony had any hand that he would bet the turn, he'd bet like 2.5K on the turn with any hand that was beating Queen Jack.
I mean, it felt like a great little bluff on the flop, but if you're always checking the turn because you're always getting called. And then of course, yeah, it's beautiful.
No,
no, he's just gone all in. Tony. I mean, he would never make that bet without the hand, would he?
After he's folded.
Well played. I may have called in a different river.
It's not a bad river.
I think Mestre's played the hand well.
He really has.
I think I would have liked to have seen a bet on the turn from him there, a bet to protect on the turn, because I think if Tony's got a set or 2 pair, I don't think he's going to check the turn. He's going to lead the turn.
And the same with all better jacks and that sort of thing.
Yeah, if he's got ace jack, he's going to bet for value too.
Was it good, really?
Tony G's gotten kind of out. I feel like he's gotten outplayed there.
Pretty soon.
Yeah, Mestre.
Well, have a look. Faraz Jaka
well.
only stuck €5. Amazing. He's been up and down like a roller coaster. But go to our first eviction. Pins and needles to see who gets tossed.
We're just a few hours into the big game here in Barcelona, and it's time for the first eviction. The online viewers have been voting for the players that they want to see stay at the table. And I can now reveal to you the name of the player with the fewest votes who will have to leave the game right now is Alec Torelli.
Oh, no.
I'm sorry, Alec.
No worries.
We'll be bringing another player in shortly.
Well, Alec Torelli didn't get enough votes to keep him on. I can only say, for the audience that's watching, I hope they show more love for him if he gets back. 2 hours.
Can't say.
20K. Now Mestre's leaving.
Mestre's leaving.
Bye, good luck.
So he just stayed long enough to make sure Torelli got evicted. Brilliant, brilliant.
Oh, Torelli's going to be so tilted when he sees Mestre walking past him now.
I know.
Alec Torelli has been eliminated from the table via eviction, which is very sad. Talk to me.
Only for me.
Well, it's kind of sad not to see you out there on the table as well, but talk to me about the dynamic at the table, sort of what happened in those hours that you were sitting there.
Yeah, it started off a little slow, but I suppose it always does. People get accustomed to what's going on and who's kind of playing what. Of course, when Tony came, it was always a little more lively and made a grand entrance, which was fun too. And so, yeah, it was pretty active. I mean, at least for me, I got a few big hands, and some went well, some didn't. And so, yeah, there's a lot of action, and I think things are picking up a little bit. Straddle's going on, and people getting deeper stacked, more money on the table. It always creates a lot of action, so it should be good to watch.
Next time, new faces come to the table, and we'll see who will be the second player to be booted off of the big game in Barcelona.